based on science.
Hey everyone, Matt Thomas here. Thanks for watching. So you ever go in the grocery store and you go in the snack aisle and you're looking for a healthy snack and there's a box there that says made with real fruit right on the front. And you're like, made with real fruit, a healthy snack. And then you check the ingredients label and the first ingredient is sugar. And the real fruit is like way at the bottom and you're like, whoa, I'm being lied to. And the reality is as long as there's 1% of that ingredient that they're promoting in there, they can say it's made with real fruit. Like technically they're not lying. It's definitely misleading, but they're not lying, right? You think it's a healthy snack, it really isn't. The reason I bring that up is there's a term like that going around right now in the world of education. And the term is brain-based learning. Or some combination of that, right? Based on how the brain learns, teach to the brain, something like that. And having that term, brain-based learning, slapped on a textbook or being used to promote some curriculum, it seems to add instant credibility to whoever's trying to sell the program that they're selling. And so they're not technically lying, but it definitely is misleading, and let me explain it. So technically, all learning is brain-based learning. All of it. So you could literally be a teacher who gives 20 vocab words on Monday, doesn't revisit the vocab words at all during the week, and gives the test on Friday, and still be teaching to how the brain learns. As a teacher, you could get in front of your class and be like, hey class, today I'm going to teach you to how your brain learns, right? Adding instant credibility to your lesson, and then you can give them a worksheet and then sit down all period, which would be a terrible way to teach. But it does teach to how the brain learns. So you can see how the use of a simple statement can add instant credibility because A, it's not regulated, and B, it's technically not wrong. It's just not the most efficient way for the brain to learn. But the challenge is, as teachers, right, we're looking for the best stuff. And we're constantly being sold this, hey, my curriculum is based on how the brain learns. Hey, do this, and it mimics the way that an infant's brain learns something. We're being inundated with all these based on how the brain-based learning, all this stuff. And the reality is, they're not lying because any learning involves the brain. So therefore, all types of learning is brain-based learning. But it definitely can be misleading because it's not a very efficient way for the brain to learn. So let me give you an example. So here's a quote. I'm going to use this. By having the students engage in short pieces of information through the occipital lobe, the information immediately gets sent to the hippocampus. By doing so, this allows the information to tap into the limbic system, which involves the behavioral, motivational, and long-term memory systems. That allows students to retain the information through a variety of learning systems. Now that sounds amazing. I literally just described reading sentences. So again, it's not wrong, it's just a little misleading when this overly complicated explanation about how teaching to the brain is, right? So the reason I'm telling you all this is as teachers, we want to be able to evaluate teaching strategies to make it the most efficient way for the brain to learn. And I always like to use that. Sometimes I'll use the word effective way, which is not bad, right? Using teaching strategies that are effective for the brain to learn. I like the word efficient much better because efficiency is achieving maximum productivity with minimum wasted effort or expense. So I'm always looking for the most efficient teaching strategies to use in the classroom to make it easy for the brain to learn the information. So as teachers, here's how you would evaluate teaching strategy. So if someone came up and said, hey, buy my textbook, it teaches how the brain learns. You're like, all right. So let's look at it. Here's how you would evaluate. Evaluate an activity or strategy or curriculum through these 4 elements, right? So first, is there an element of curiosity? Curiosity, we know, is our innate form of learning. We're born with an innate form of curiosity, a desire to learn. It's how we grow and evolve as a person, or mature, I guess, as a person. So we have that innate curiosity. We're always curious. We're always wanting to learn. We're born that way. So does it have some element of curiosity that can lead to interest, right? And it's got to be relevant for our students. What's interesting to me now may not be interesting to my ninth grader. So it has to have some a component of curiosity that leads to continued interest, that can lead to student motivation. So it's got to be relevant for the students. The second thing, does the activity strategy curriculum, does it have some connection to previous experience? We know that the brain prioritizes what it remembers based on if it's experienced it before. So does it have some aspect of prior knowledge or gaining that prior knowledge? And is it relevant? Will it be exciting for the students? Third, does that strategy activity curriculum have some pattern involved in it? So the brain is very efficient. The brain likes to learn based on patterns, and it will prioritize what it remembers if it's based on some sort of pattern. So is there a pattern involved with it? Is there a repetition involved? Does it make sense consistently, right? Is there a consistency to it? Does it build upon itself so the brain can rely on what it just did to make meaning of what it's about to do? Is there a real world application to it, right? To the knowledge? Is there an opportunity to apply the knowledge to create real world value? Because if there isn't, the brain is most likely just going to delete the information. And so is there an opportunity for the students to take the information they learned and apply it to something that they will see valuable? And no, that's not just them writing an essay at the end of the unit, because the brain has to see real world value to that. And unless they're going to be professional essay writers, right? The brain might not see that essay as being valuable to real world application, right? So there has to be some real world application, some type of project-based learning involved with it. So when teachers are evaluating strategy, activity, curriculum, is there something in there? Is there one of those in there, which is good, but more importantly, is there a combination of those in there? Preferably all of those. So when you're doing lesson planning as a teacher, you want to try to include all of those in there. So just as we conclude this, make sure to be aware that the term brain-based learning is maybe not as valuable as we think it is, right? Because it really includes anything that involves learning, right? What we want to look for is what is the most efficient way for our students to learn, the most efficient way for our brain to remember things. So as teachers, we want to evaluate those programs, strategies, or activities based on the most efficient ways for the brain to learn and include those strategies into our lesson plans. Thanks for watching.